Haitian police have confirmed a gang of 28 gunmen participated in the assassination of President Jovenel Moise the night of Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. 17 of the suspects have been detained, 2 of them Haitian Americans and the others Colombians. Police say 3 of the gunmen were killed and 8 remain at large. The Colombian government has confirmed that 13 of those men were former soldiers, but at least 2 relatives of the Colombians have raised doubts over the authorities' report. While speaking to journalists, they said the men had been hired as bodyguards. Colombia says it will be sending law enforcement and intelligence officials to help Haiti. Head of Colombia's National Intelligence Directorate and the Intelligence Director for the National Police will also travel to Haiti with Interpol with investigations. The U.S. is also sending senior law enforcement officials to Haiti as soon as possible to help.
Our assistance is to help the people of Haiti and to help them get through what is a very challenging time and has long been even before the assassination of the president.
Other world leaders are just as concerned about Haiti's political future. President Jovenel Moise was supposed to have left office in February 2021, but he insisted that he still had 1 more year. The opposition saw this as the president intending to extend his tenure. Right now, the UN says interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph, whose position is in contention, as President Moise had appointed a new prime minister before he was killed, should lead the country until the next elections. Haiti's elections minister Mathias Pierre is also worried about his country's political future, and he says the country has requested U.S. and UN security forces to help it protect key infrastructure like the airports and ports.
We're in a situation where we believed that infrastructure of the countries like the port, airport, and energy infrastructure might be a target.
Meanwhile, crowds have been gathered outside the U.S. Embassy in Haiti, desperate for a way out of the country. Many already had their bags packed. Haiti has been struggling to achieve stability for years and is burdened by economic hardship and insecurity, following gang activities and politically motivated attacks. And we've only just heard from the First Lady injured in the attack and who is still in hospital in Miami, Florida. She confirms her husband was riddled with bullets and that the attack on Wednesday night happened so quickly, President Moise was unable to say a word. Let's bring in Gerlin Joseph. She's the co-founder and executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance. She's in California. Gerlin, thank you for joining me today.
Good afternoon, good morning. Thank you so much for having me back.
Well, great to have you. Let's start. What goes through your mind as you hear about the developments that have happened in Haiti since Wednesday?
It's been a roller coaster of emotions, honestly, for myself, family, and community members that I have talked to both in the diaspora and in Haiti. There are a lot of questions and there are a lot of doubts about everything, honestly, that we are seeing, that we are hearing, that we are witnessing right now. So, a lot of emotions, a lot of confusion, a lot of continued fear of what all of those different things means and where they can lead to, honestly.
There is an uncertainty about Haiti's future, like you have rightly pointed out, but you have members of the international community, such as the UN, suggesting interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph, whose position is in contention, to continue to lead until an election is conducted. What do you make of these interventions now, seeing how much contention there already was, even during President Moise's tenure?
Honestly, as I mentioned before, this whole thing seems to be absurd. Prior to the assassination, a lot of the turmoil that were happening in the country was due to the fact that the civil societies and a great number of Haitians did not agree for the way things were moving. So for the international community, for the UN, the US, and what's not, to be pushing for the same narrative, to be pushing for the same a way that things were before the assassination is outrageous. They need to listen to the demands of the people. They need to make sure that whatever support is provided is what is in the fair a way for the Haitian people. And we are hearing some very disturbing requests asking for troops to be landing in Haiti. But the people, that's not what they want. That's not what the diaspora is looking at. That is not what the Haitian community in Haiti is asking. I am not here to speak for all people, but the sentiment is that there needs to be a new course of where things needs to be moving. And the people are crying. Civil societies are crying. They've been crying for too long. So what we are seeing right now, again, is very disturbing, and we are demanding that they respect the will of the Haitian people so that they can be protected, have peace, and be able to govern themselves.
Now, when you're talking about, some parts of Haiti calling for, some groups calling for foreign intervention, you're probably referring to the elections minister who says Haiti needs U.S. and UN troops to come into the country to protect public buildings. So they said the U.S. president says there are no intentions, no plans to send forces to Haiti. And you already know the people are concerned about their security. So if there is a call for international intervention in the form of boots on the ground, doesn't that suggest really that there is no security in Haiti at the moment?
Well, that would not suggest that there is no security in Haiti at the moment. We have been living the insecurities in Haiti for a very long time. They just massacred and assassinated the person who should have been the most protected in the country. So therefore, insecurity is something that we as a country have been dealing with for a very long time. The week prior to the president's assassination, they had another mass murder of people, journalists, young men and women who were fighting against corruption, putting the interest of the people first, were also killed, a week prior to the assassination. So insecurity is something we have been dealing for a very long time. And as we could see, that insecurity is also a part of both the internal violence that has been plaguing Haiti for a long time and guided by external violence in the country. History has proven that having international boots on the ground is a disaster. History has proven that when we have those type of intervention, invasion, and occupations have always been problematic. Having reports of rapes and sexual abuse, in addition to all of the other things that we know. History has proven that this is not the way for us to move forward. As I mentioned the very first day, we are at an impasse where much needs to be done. But again, I say, and I know a lot of our brothers and sisters echo that sentiment. If we could do 1804, we can make it happen, but we need to have boots out of the necks of Haiti intentionally, and we need to make sure that whatever support is provided goes to the people so that they can regain themselves, so they can regain their sovereignty, so they can move forward and turn this extremely, extremely painful moment that we are dealing right now into a positive outcome for the future of the people. Because we are seeing young men, young women, children unable to breathe, children having to be kept inside for fear of what might happen. We need to make sure that whatever type of support that will be provided in Haiti includes a way to build the country so that the people can be successful, and insecurity has been a plague in the nation for a very long time.
I want to talk about, the suspects that the police say that they have in their custody, over 17 of them. Most of them are Colombians. The Colombian government has already come out to say that these ones are former military men. And then you have 2 Haitian Americans amongst these suspects who purportedly assassinated President Moise. What are your thoughts on, Haiti even having a hand in Moise's assassination, and, the presence of Colombian mercenaries, as your government puts it, involved in this?
It is so complicated. It is extremely simple for those who understand the intricacity of what's happening in Haiti, but it's also complicated at the same time. We are seeing pictures of those alleged assassins who visited Santo Domingo, taking pictures as if they were on vacation. We are also hearing that they have been in the country for over a month, doing what we do not know. So there's a lot of question marks really between the relationships of the Colombians or the assassins that committed the act and all the other parties involved. So we really are paying close attention to all the information that is coming out. But honestly, if you can connect the dots, you will see a very complicated situation that is unfolding.
Gerline Joseph, thank you again for speaking to us on Diplomatic Channel. We all have our eyes and thoughts with Haiti at this time.
Thank you so much for having me.